Welcome back to another video here at Greg Dennis Reviews in proud association with Change Cars. Now today I'm in the all-new Lexus GX 550 Overtrail. And let's just say Lexus didn't come to play. Okay, here we go. The 1.8 million rand Lexus GX 550 Overtrail. Now I'll turn things off quickly and we can take a quick little walk around to see what this thing is all about. So starting off up front here, and I must say again, I think Lexus has done an absolutely incredible job with the design of this new GX. I think that it looks great. Yes, you can see that it's definitely got that Prado DNA in it. That's because they're from the same family, so that's why they kind of look the same from a shape point of view, but it definitely stands out as a Lexus, and you can see that up front here with this big, massive grille over here. I do like the fact that it doesn't go all the way down to the bottom with that black section. You know, Lexus uses like that that thing with the sand and the hourglass. That's kind of the shape that they always go for with their big grills, and I like that it's not just all black in front here, it's kind of split, which looks really nice over here. Obviously the badge with the radars all built into it, daytime running lights which are now off, but I'll show you what they look like. But that's over here, nice shape to them. Overall a really nice looking car. And then here, with this being the Overtrail model, you're going to get different sized wheels. So here you've got 18s, but if you do opt for the SE, which is the more expensive version of this, you're going to get, I think they're about 21 or 22 inch size wheels. So these are obviously more designed for going off-road, so that you can have a much bigger all-terrain tire, so that you've got more grip. It makes a lot more sense than trying to go off-road with a much bigger wheel that's more than 20 inches in size. So that's why you're going to find these on the Overtrail version, as well as these side steps. On the SE version, they are going to be auto deployable, so when you open up the door they're going to pop out, but here you don't have that because of the version that we have. So yes, you've got side steps to get onto the car, so it's easy for you to reach if you need to get anything on the top of the roof here, because you've got roof rails, so you can have boxes, you can have a roof rack, you can have anything you want up top here. Also, look at the size of the side mirror. This thing is absolutely massive, but I also like, again, it's square, so it matches the whole boxy theme that this car's got going for it. And then making our way towards the back of the car, I do like the back of this car. Hold on, I want to put this lights on, you need to see it. There you go. How cool does that look, eh? A full light bar across the back here, nice thick one. I think that it looks nice. Again, it matches the boxy ruggedness of this car. So you've got big thick light bars, you've got these big bumpers, big square angles to the car. I think that it looks really, really cool. You've got the tow bar down over here. You've got this plastic like rubberized section on top of the boot, because when you get inside the car it needs to be rugged and be able to at least take a bit of a beating. But I thought while we're back here, one of this car's kind of showpieces, like the Prado as well, you can get into the boot through this button here. You can get access into the rear just by opening up the window to grab things if you easily want to. But if you want to have more space, then you'll easily just go into the boot from here. Auto, obviously, we're not going to go with the whole manual with this price point. So of course, electronic tailgate. Then once you get inside here, the one thing you are going to notice is that this isn't a 7-seater. That's because this is the Overtrail version. So with it being the entry into the GX range, you aren't going to get 7 seats. So no 2 seats back here making up seats 6 and 7. But if you do get the SE version of this, the more expensive one, you are going to have a 7-seater. But yeah, there you go. A whole bunch of space back here. Underneath the floorboards, you're going to find your tools and things that you might need if you are stranded on the side of the road. And is there a spare wheel? Yes, right underneath here. So there you go. This is the back of the car. You've got some plug points in terms of like USBs and stuff for your passengers. And I think that that's just built into the back if you have a 7-seater. But anyway, if you need to charge things, you can do that. There's cup holders. So if you have people just sitting in the back here, at least they can have cup holders and they can charge their phones, but they're not going to have seats to sit on. That's the outside of the new GX 550 Overtrail. Now let's take a look at the inside. And taking a look at the inside of the Lexus GX 550, you can see that you're sitting inside a luxurious SUV. You can see that you're sitting inside of a Lexus. And no, not just because there's an L on the steering wheel here, but because it's premium, it's luxurious, it's well built, it's well appointed. This thing is as solid as what cars come, and that's what tells you that you're sitting inside a premium car. Now, taking a look at what you're getting inside here, we're going to start off with what's in front of the driver. So here you're going to find a really nice, luxurious and leather-wrapped steering wheel. It always feels good being inside of a Lexus. These steering wheels are really, really nice. So you've got some paddle shifters, obviously, because you've got that big monstrosity of an engine up front there, which we'll talk about, but not right now. You've got all of your shortcut buttons. You've got a nice digital display for the driver right in front of you over here. You've got some different modes that you can select from, but it doesn't change your displays too much. But you'll see here that you've got you've actually got 3 different displays that you can choose from. So 1, 2, and 3, and that's going to change what you see on the sides over there. But then looking at here now where your infotainment is, you've got a start button, and it's giving a similar design to the new Yaris, and you can see that by the placement of the start button, which I'll overlay for you guys to check out. And that tells you again, this is from the Toyota family. Now right here for this infotainment, as you can see, you've got wireless Apple CarPlay. You'll be able to get Android Auto. You've got these dials, which, let me just start this properly. There you go. So here you'll be able to see the different temperatures that you can change that to. That's really cool, and it just adds a nice little technological touch to this. You can also go and do all of your car settings. So once you get back to the main menu, which we'll see over there. So here you'll be able to see everything from your multimedia. You'll be able to go into your car settings. You can adjust all of your driver assist settings. So you can change and kind of set up how you want this car to be. And then going back into the settings over here, you'll be able to go and change a whole bunch of things like your sound, because this has got a really nice sound system in this car. I think the top spec version's got the Mark Levinson. I don't think that this one actually has that. But unfortunately, there's no separate climate control. It's all built into the system, as you can see here. At least it remains there consistently. So yes, you do have to tap the screen for your fan speed. There's no dials for that. But what you do have a dial for, which I love, is the volume. So you've got a physical dial for the volume right here, and that's always a good move. So well done, Lexus. Then working our way down over here, you're going to find your drive mode select. So once you're in drive mode, that means that's the drive modes for when you're literally on the road. So once you turn this dial over here, you'll see that it brings up the different drive modes to select from, which is going to be Sport Plus, Sport S, it could have just been Sport, Normal, Comfort, and then Eco. But then once you push this into the MTS, and that's going to be now your off-road drive modes. So you'll see here now that changes to dirt, sand, mud, and deep snow. So that's quite cool to see that you've got different types of graphics and things to look at as well. So I don't know, it just adds a nice little touch to this car. And then further down the sensor here, you're going to find this weird design. I don't know what this is all for, except for the fact that you've got a 12-volt socket over there, USB Type-C, cup holders, wireless phone charger, your gear selector, obviously, as well as here is where you'll do most of your off-road settings. So here you'll be able to lock your 2 differentials, and here you'll be able to go from 4 high to 4 low. So this is where you'll be able to adjust everything. Now you'll see that there isn't 2 high. This is a permanent 4-wheel drive car. As I mentioned, you've got your wireless phone charger and some storage underneath here, which you can also turn into a cool box. So that'll make it nice and cold there for all of your snacks and drinks. And then onto these really comfortable and nice leather seats. They're heated, they're ventilated, they'll keep you warm, they'll cool you down. They're also fully electronically adjustable, and they have got some settings over here for 3 different people. So you'll always be able to keep your perfect setting no matter who you are. And then moving into the back. Now this is where I've got a little bit of a problem when it comes to the GX, because as big as what this car is, I don't feel like I've got the most amounts of legroom. It's a really big car. Yes, I'm 1.87 meters tall, but there's smaller SUVs today that I've got a lot more legroom than this. So that's a little bit of a strange one for me. And then my head is like that far from touching the roof above me. So it's a little bit strange, and like the build quality of the roof itself I found to be a little bit strange. So if you come a little bit closer over here, be able to see how this kind of just bounces in. And it's really strange, especially when this is so close to you, you feel a little bit claustrophobic. So I don't know. It's strange for the back. I thought there would be a lot more space in here, but it's still good to know that at least you've got your own independent climate controlled USB Type-Cs down here. So you can charge everything that you need to, and then a nice armrest with 2 cup holders as well. Okay, so that's the outside and the inside of the new Lexus GX 550. I think it's time now that we get behind the wheel and really go and see what this car is all about, and I can tell you a little bit more about that really cool engine that it's got. Okay, so behind the wheel of the Lexus GX 550 Overtrail, and I'm not going to say that every time, so I'm just going to say Lexus going forward. But up front, we have got a monstrous 3.5 litre V6 twin turbocharged petrol engine. Yes, in 2025, from a brand that's owned by Toyota, we've got this monstrosity of an engine, and it's absolutely epic. Now, this engine puts out 260 kilowatts and 650 newton meters of torque, and let's just say you can feel all of that. And that's going to send this big SUV to 100 kilometers an hour in about 7 seconds. And putting it into the right drive mode, which I'm going to do right now, I'm going to put it into Sport Plus, and you're going to start hearing what this V6 is all about. Oh, it does sound really, really good. And it's so cool to see this sort of engine and power coming out of a Lexus. Now, I know that these big Lexus cars, well, previous generations of us have always had this big engine, but just reminding yourself that this is still coming from a company that's owned, and it's pretty much Toyota. Now, I'm sure you would have picked that up because this does look very similar to the Land Cruiser Prado, which you guys have seen on the channel, and I'll link it up in the top corner here for you guys to go check out. So it's the same platform, but a completely different car. So it's gonna look a little bit similar, but that's kind of where it ends. Now, it's not the first car that they've done that to as well, because if you know the Lexus RX, well, that's also based off of the Toyota Corolla Cross. And that's just a joke. I'm just kidding. That's not true. It's only the Prado and this that are kind of a shared platform. That's why they kind of look the same. So capability, performance, and reliability is what you're going to get with a Lexus, just like this one. Now, the main reason why I say reliability is because that's pretty important to note. Now, when you look at this car's competitors in the price brackets of this, that's around 1.8 million rand, you're looking at things like the Defender. So that's the entry-level Defender 90, the small one. That starts from about 1.8 million rand. You've also got the Land Rover Discovery, and that's also going to start at around that price point. You've then got the Land Cruiser Prado, which is this is based off of around 1.3 million, so a little bit lower. But if you compare it to the likes of JLR products, this is going to stand out heads above the rest of them in terms of reliability. So if you're ever having to question which one you think you should get for the long run, then I don't think your decision's going to be very hard to make when you've got something like this that also sounds like this. It's so cool. But that sound does mean that it's also quite heavy on the fuel that you're filling up inside this car. Now, I'm going to put on screen what Lexus claim as their claim fuel consumption for this. And what you'll be able to see from that is what I'm currently sitting on is vastly different. So this car was delivered to me at around 16 liters per 100 kilometers, and I'm still around the 16 liters per 100 kilometers. My hope was to bring it to around at least 12. I haven't been able to do too much highway driving, so it's pretty much just been in and around the neighborhood and the streets and to work and back and all of that sort of thing. I've been driving it in eco mode, I've been trying it out there, I've put it into comfort, I've been trying it in Sport Plus. So I've been trying all of them, and not even comfort was able to bring it down. It did by like a couple points, but that was really it. So yeah, you're buying this because you love the sound of a V6, you're buying it because you love Lexus, you love the space and the size. You're definitely not buying it to save fuel, that's for sure. But all of that aside, it is a very capable car. So once you take this car off of the tarmac and onto a dirt surface to go and have some fun off-road, one thing's for sure is that not a lot is going to stop this car. From its high ground clearance to the locking differentials, you've got a center locking differential, you've got a rear locking differential, you've got the different drive modes. So this car will then be able to adjust its traction and be able to take you as far as possible in also the most luxurious cabin that you could probably ask for. So again, it's capable, it's luxurious, it's performance orientated, but from a driving point of view, there's one thing I'm not too happy about, and that's the space inside here. Now, I'm 1.87 meters tall, but taking into account that this is a very big car, I really shouldn't be feeling quite squeezed in my driver's seat, and I feel like I am a little bit, because this steering wheel won't go any higher than what it is, and my legs currently are probably this far from the steering wheel itself, so not a lot of clearance over here, which does feel a little bit claustrophobic for me. The seat doesn't go down any further than what it is right now, so I can't really get into the most ideal driving position than what I probably would like to. But that aside, it's still very comfortable. You've got the ability to obviously adjust your seats accordingly, all electronically. There's 3 different settings to save those to. The actual suspension itself is very good on-road, it's really good off-road, and because this is the Overtrail version, you have got those adaptive suspension or dampers too. So depending on your drive mode, it's also going to change the setup of the car accordingly. So off-road, it's going to give you a little bit more of a softer feel. On-road in sport mode, it's going to be a little bit firmer, and in comfort, it's obviously going to be comfortable. And then I thought I would speak a little bit about the Prado versus this GX 550. Now, as I've said, they are very similar cars, but they've got a very completely different drivetrain. So that Prado is based off of the 2.8 litre GD6 setup, where this is now based off of that 3.5 litre twin turbo V6 petrol. So petrol versus diesel, I think people are more going to be likely wanting to go towards the Prado because it's diesel. The engine capacity is not so high, so the fuel consumption is going to be a lot better too. It doesn't really impact the performance with it being that diesel engine. Yes, it's still really good in that car. This is going to be a lot faster. It's also around 500,000 Rand more expensive to get into this, but the Prado also still feels quite luxurious, very similar in terms of how things are orientated inside the car. Here you're going to get the leather seats, you're still going to feel like you're in a car that's over R1 million. So I think your decision is, do you want to be going off-road in something that's luxurious like this and in a performance petrol version, or do you want to go in the Prado that's just as capable off-road? It's got the very similar setups in terms of drive modes and all of that for 500,000 Rand less, but still also be driven around in diesel. So I mean, at the end of the day, they're both going to be Toyota products. So I think it's just, which brand would you prefer to go to, and do you have that 5,000 Rand to either save or spend? But I think knowing that this 3.5 litre twin turbo V6 is inside the Toyota company stable, I'm almost wanting them to maybe think around putting this inside of the new generation Hilux. So when they bring out that Hilux GR Sport, that it will definitely then compete with that Range Raptor in terms of its 3 litre V6 that they've got inside that car. So I think that would probably be the right move to make when the next generation Hilux comes out. Slap this product or slap this engine inside there, and let's have a proper bucky face-off with those 6-cylinder high-performance petrol engines, and then we'll be able to see who is then the king of the buckies. That would be so dope. Please do it. And then onto the verdict in the form of the GDR test. Should you get it, drive it, or remove it from the list of cars that you're looking at? Now, this is going to come back to what I was saying earlier. I think if you are wanting a product like this, then your choices are probably going to be between the Prado, the Land Rover Discovery, and even the Land Rover Defender. At those price points, for entry-level Discovery and entry-level Defender for Defender 90, here, for that same price, you're getting a much bigger car, you're getting more performance, but it's not going to be diesel-powered, but you will be getting that within the Prado. So I would say, go and take this for a drive, go and see if you're happy with the performance. I know you will be, but definitely keep an eye on that fuel consumption. But otherwise, I don't think that there really is even a question from a quality, from a performance, from a specs and features point of view that really comes close to this at that price point. So I would say go and drive this and go and see if out of all those cars, if this is the right one for you. And if it is, then go check one out on changecars.co.za, South Africa's safest online platform where you can buy and sell cars in South Africa. Now, the best thing about them is they've got a really cool feature called Beat My Quote, where you bring them a quote on a new car from a dealership that's not on their website, and not only will they match the quote, but they'll beat it too. So you'll definitely, guaranteed, get a better deal through changecars.co.za. Okay, so thank you so much for watching another video here at Greg Dennis Reviews. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope you learned a whole bunch more about the new Lexus GX 550. And if you did, please will you drop a like below, and if you want to see more videos like this and other car reviews, then please subscribe. And until then, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.